Alrighty folks, hi, I am back. It is time for a new pattern. Oops. Pattern-collections.com. We're going to scroll down to Pattern Focus to find today's pattern. And this is this one, September 6th, Shellmound by Cheryl Lees Haley. Let's see how we do this. It looks like one of those ones that's going to feel more complicated than it is. I have this feeling. So I want to look at, the example first. Okay. All right. Step number 1. So it's sort of grid-like, but not, you don't draw a grid exactly. Okay, so step number 1, we're going to draw some parallel lines, and then coming from those parallel lines, we're going to do a little line coming up, but it doesn't come up and touch the next line. It just goes up a little ways. But they kind of line up this way. So it's sort of grid-like, but like with only like a half a line going up this way. Okay. And then we're going to go from, I think it'd be easiest for me to start down here rather than up here, but we're going to make a little curve, and it's going to come not quite to that line, over a little bit. See how those are not connected? They have a space. So we're going to do a little curve, not connected. A little curve, not connected. And then, this is where it's going to get tricky for me. And then we want to connect from here to about halfway from this curve. So it might be easier for me. Now, maybe not for you, but for me, it's going to be easiest. Because if I go this way, I'm going to tend to want to curve up here and not connect over here. So I think I'm going to start here where I need it to connect and come down and meet that. That will be easiest for me. And then step number 4, if you want to, will be to put these kind of scallopy looking auras. You're going to aura that, move right there. And then it looks like that. Or that. Or this. This one's upside down. That took me a minute to... Some of these are going one way and some of these are going the other, which is really interesting. This one's going that way. They're all going different directions. That makes it for a very interesting tile. So let's give this a go. But it is one that's going to take me a bit to think about. I'm going to turn on my light so I can see. Watch out for the glare. Okay. Already pre-strung my tile with the string number 49. Looks like that. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna work with that string. I'm gonna go ahead and just draw it. I don't always, but I'm gonna do a nice kind of wongly border like that. And I'm going to draw that string right there. And then I'm going to erase all that pencil business. Ah, I've just dropped my cap. Okay. So how's your Wednesday going? My Wednesday is so far so good. We'll see how the rest of it goes, but so far so good. All right, so Excuse me. I think I'm gonna put a pencil. I'm gonna put do one of them going this way, like so. And I think the rest of them are gonna go in this direction. I was thinking of following that curve, but I think I want to do it this way. I'm gonna follow like that. That's what I'm going to use as my beginning marks there. Okay, so step one, I'm going to go ahead and make these parallel lines. Now that I've drew them with the pencil, I'm going to do them with the pen. I just wasn't sure if that's where I wanted them, so I started with pencil. You don't have to, you can just go right in with pen, that would be fine. All right. Now, one way or another, I think I want it this way. I'm going to make, and I'm going to use a pencil so I can line these up, because otherwise they'll be way all over the place. Like that. I just want 3, I think, there. And going this way, I'm going to don't want them lined up with that, I don't think. No. Like that. Okay. Just using those as guides to put those little tick marks. What did I decide? I decided I wanted them this way, right? So they're going to come up part way. Something like that. So far so good. Step 1. Step 2. We're going to go from the bottom of here to not quite touching here. So what's the easiest way to do that? Might be easiest to do it this way. Yeah, I want this way. So I want to aim to here. I want kind of like that. And do them for the whole thing. And then this will be part of one here, and you'll see part of one there, right? And you'll see maybe a little bit of that one. Like that. And then this one you'll see that and that and that. Okay. So far so good. Now, next step. I want to go from this corner. I need to go from, let me point it out with a stump, right? Or with a pencil. A pencil would be good so I can practice one. I want to go from here to here, and I have to touch here. So I have to go this way, like that. But I don't want it to look like a triangle. So I have to be very careful on my curve. I want it to be more like that. I may have to extend this line up to make it meet, because I want that curve more like that. I don't think I made these up high enough. Okay, there's tip number 1. These have to go halfway between this line and this line. I didn't go up far enough. So I'm going to draw these lines and then I'm going to extend that way. I believe that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go this way and extend that if it needs to touch. Like that. Okay. That way and extend if I need to. That way. That way. Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that this way. You want to have those, because you can see that little spot where I added. So you can see that. That one was good. That one was good. See, if I went all the way down to there, it would be too much of a curve. Okay. So my question is, do I want to actually draw that line first, or do I want to draw these and then these and then put that line in? That actually might be the better way for me to draw this tangle. Okay, and then this one, you'll see this line has to go to there. Goes, you'll only see part of that, like that. Okay, just trying to figure out what you will see when you have that partial. That sometimes is difficult to imagine. That's better. Okay. And then what? Next. Oh, next is doing this, which I think I will go ahead and do. Like that. Okay. So far, so good. I'm happy with that. I like the way it turned out. So I think I'm going to try drawing this in a different way. Oh, I forgot to turn off the phone. Ugh. Okay. Just let it run. Sorry, folks. There's just too many things to think about. Okay, so I'm going to leave my pencil marks here. I don't know if you can see them. I want to make them a little darker so you can see them. Like that. Okay, and instead of drawing the line first, I've decided I am going to, which direction are these going to go? gonna go this way. Okay. Just starting to decide which way I want the curve to go. Okay. So I'm going to go from here, from that spot there. I'm pretending there's that line there. I'm gonna go from this spot to not quite over here. Okay. And then I'm going to go from here to about halfway through there. Like that. Sometimes I have to play with a pattern and change the way the step out is in order for me to understand it better and to draw it with the fewest number of problems. Does that make some sense? Because I want you guys to know that it's okay. You don't have to follow the pattern exactly as it's drawn. Sometimes you need a different approach to find the way you need to draw it. Okay, so I did it like that, and then like that, and now I will draw the vertical piece which goes from here to here. And it actually looks kind of cool without it, but I'm gonna go put it in. Yeah, you wouldn't see that. You'd only see a little bit of that one. Okay. Time for some erasing. Get rid of all of my guide marks. I'm going to do this one without the little curves, the swoopy part. I'm going to fill in, and I'm going to fill in that spot with dark. I'm feeling darkness in here. Okay. I have got to get to the grocery store today. Our refrigerator is plumb empty. Out of breakfast foods. I think my husband even used the last of the peanut butter this morning. He had a peanut butter sandwich on tortilla because we didn't have any bread, which works fine. But that wasn't what he wanted for breakfast. He was actually in the mood for oatmeal, but No oatmeal. And then I don't know what my son usually has for breakfast because he's out of the house way before I get up. He has quite the commute for his job, and he actually leaves the house about 5:30 in the morning, between 5 and 5:30, depending on which office he needs to work at. Yeah, he has really long days between his commute and the work. His work days, they work 4 10-hour days. So he works a 4-hour day, I mean a 10-hour day anyways, and then he adds between an hour to 2 hours of commute on either end. So he's gone from the house for 14 hours every day. He leaves really early and then he gets home late. He's exhausted. So he leaves about 5:30 in the morning and he gets home at 7 or 8 at night. That's a long day. And then the poor thing had no breakfast this morning. Usually he just grabs himself a bagel or something for breakfast, but we didn't even have that. We had nothing left in the house. We weren't home most of the weekend, this last weekend, and so our normal grocery shopping day just didn't happen. I think the holiday had something to do with that. We were just sort of out of sorts, you know. Monday didn't feel like Monday. Sunday didn't feel like Sunday. I don't know. None of it felt right. I'm still kind of catching up, getting my days back in order. Doesn't help when I have recently been having Tuesdays off. It's my day off. But this week, with the holiday on Monday, my day off is Friday. So I'm a little out of sorts too, because I'm used to having Tuesday to do my stuff if we didn't get things done over the weekend, and I don't have Tuesday this week. All right, I really like that. I like the contrast of it. I like the swirl. I'm very, very pleased with that. And I think I want to do striping in here. Where's my pen? Maybe with a little bit of sparkle. Maybe. Do I want the sparkle? You know, that's the nice thing about sparkle is if you leave it there and then you decide you don't like it, you just fill it in. I don't think I did those in the right. I should have done that stripe and then that stripe. Well, I'll do that for this one. And then on the next row, I'll put it the other way. So maybe I won't do sparkle on this row either, because it looks a little funny with just one. Usually you have to have at least two to line up the sparkles to make them look right. So I think I'm just going to fill it in. And then maybe I'll do a little bit thicker of a line here just to... That's better. Okay. Actually, that's not so bad. All right, I think I'll just continue that way. We'll do the middle. So you guys are going to watch me color. Coloring is not that exciting. You can fast forward if you want. That's what the fast forward button is for. This will probably take me 4 or 5 minutes, so just skip over and we're all good. Oh yeah, I can't leave the house until the delivery has been made. I was gonna go to the grocery store. Sometimes things just, you know, your day just goes a different direction than you had anticipated. It's all right. I have things to do. I gotta finish this drawing, and then this is the last one for today. And then I have to go pay bills, which now is all done online, which is very handy. I just have to go do it. Make sure I've got enough money in my checking account before I start. If I don't, then I need to either transfer a little bit from my savings or just choose which bills to start with and which ones can wait another week until payday. Budgeting money is not always the easiest thing, especially when you have unexpected expenses. That refrigerator was one of them. I'm not sure I have enough money to pay for that. Probably have to ask my husband for a little bit of money transfer for that one. Let's see. What else is going on? See, yes, there are people who have videos where they just chit-chat about their life. And you know what? That's going to happen. And for those of you who don't like the chit-chatty parts, that's what the fast forward button is used for. But I do know that there are lots of people who enjoy the chit-chatty parts, so I'm just going to keep chit-chatting so that it's not just you listening to my neighbors cutting tile, which is really quite loud, but I'm happy for them that they're getting their house remodeled the way they want it. Oh, I missed that one. I want to make it just a little bit darker. Okay, I'm happy with this. This will be here, and I'll be a bit over here. I missed the stripe there. Okay. I read a really interesting article this morning about how to help those who are affected with that hurricane. And the flooding in Houston, and even you know, any other natural disaster. You know, people are really very kind-hearted and generous, and they're flooding the area with donations, which is awesome. And I would never ever take that away from anybody who is doing that. You know, that your donations are important. But this article is really good and said, you know, you got to make sure you're donating the right thing, because, you know, you don't want your heart to not be, your donation to not be used. And you didn't donate it for it to be thrown away. You donated to be used, right? Well, you got to think about the things that they need right now, not the things that they need in a year or 2 years. You know, donating prom dresses are awesome, and some girl will appreciate that next May. when it's prom season. But right now, you know, she'd probably prefer to have boots or gloves, and you know, I mean, not snow boots, I mean like galoshes type boots, or even tennis shoes. You know, I guess people are donating winter gear, hats and gloves and snow coats. Well, they don't get winter in Houston. I mean, even in their coldest days, they said some people never owned jackets to start with, so they certainly don't want a jacket now. You know, I know here in Southern California where I live, I do own a winter-ish coat, but I know that it would not even be close to being warm enough if I lived someplace where it snowed. Not even close. It's what people who live where it snows would use as a sort of a fall jacket. That is my winter coat. It's not fur-lined, it's not heavy-duty, it's just enough to keep the water off in case it rains. It's a raincoat. It's not a winter jacket. Because even our coldest days, we only have 1 or 2 days a year that it gets below freezing. And that's at night when I'm home and cozy in my bed. It doesn't get that cold. And so people are donating, you know, lovely winter wear that nobody's going to use. And it's just clogging up the donation centers with donations of things that people don't need. And they really, honestly, people, it doesn't matter where you are donating or who you are donating to. People do not want your used underwear. They just don't. If you're going to donate underwear, go purchase a brand new package of underwear and then donate that. But do not give them your used underwear. Nobody wants it. As desperate as they might be, they're not going to wear your used underwear. They would rather just wear their underwear twice. I mean, really. That's just gross. So, you know, for myself, I think donating money is more helpful at this point. I mean, they need food, yes, and people are donating food cards, which is awesome. You know, cards for grocery stores. Unfortunately, they're choosing cards for stores that don't exist in Texas. You know, and so then they're not useful for that area. They'll have to take that donation and then donate it to another part of the world, you know, part of the U.S. that has that particular market or grocery store. So I'm better off choosing a charity that I know will take money and purchase goods there locally. You know, they'll take the money to the local store where that store owner, you know, in Houston has just opened their doors again maybe and had a lot of their merchandise ruined, and they are desperate for income. You know, your donation to the local Red Cross or you know, your church's like I'm Presbyterian, and our church has Presbyterian disaster relief, and I know that money is going to the local Presbyterian churches in Houston, and they are purchasing things locally for their neighborhoods. And that way, the local grocer, the local pharmacist, the local, even the local Walmart for that matter, gets the money rather than, and they are able to rebuild their businesses because they're getting an influx of money of people who are purchasing to rebuild. So I think, you know, just for me personally, sending funds is more the way to go in helping out a natural disaster. And the lady in this article said that, you know, they also are getting a lot of people coming to help out, which is, once again, awesome, spectacular, got people helping out. However, they're just kind of wandering around and getting in the way instead of contacting FEMA or the Red Cross or whoever is there coordinating volunteers and saying, you know, I'm here, what can I do to help? They just show up and then they have nothing to do and they're just kind of in the way. And that's not good. You want to be helpful. You went to be helpful. You have a good heart, good and kind heart. You're trying to bless others. But you want to do it in the right way so that your blessing can be actually used. So just a thought, folks. You know, it's. I know that we're all wanting to help our neighbors, and that's awesome. And if you have the time to go and volunteer, score for you. I can't leave. I don't have the vacation time. I don't have the funds. And I really don't have the skill set for a lot of, you know, what might be needed. At least I don't think so. Maybe I do. Maybe all I need to do is sit and pray and teach people how to Zentangle, right? But, you know, I'm going to leave that to the people who are there. Sometimes I feel like people go just in order to gawk. I know that might not be in everybody's heart, but I think it's in some people's hearts. I know that that's part of the thing I have an issue with like reporters. I want to know what's going on, but at the same time, it's like, you know, leave these poor people alone. They've gone through enough. They really, really just don't need your microphone in their face. But then again, there might be people who just want to talk to reporters, and you know, I see both sides sometimes, and I just have a hard time. I have a hard time going in someone else's shoes sometimes. So I do what I can. I give what I have when I can. Sometimes I don't have, and then I feel guilty that I don't have to give. But I just want to make sure that when I do give, I'm giving to a company, not a company, well, some of them are companies, but I give to an organization that I know is going to use my money and not waste it and abuse it. You know, do your research. Make sure that you're not giving to somebody an organization who's, you know, got like 80% of the monies that they get go toward administrative expenses and not to the people they're trying to help. You know, those folks, they're out there. I don't know the names of those places, and I'm not going to shout them out because that's. But, you know, do your research. Make sure you're giving your money to some place where you know that the administrative expenses are minimal, if there's any at all. A lot of the places, especially through churches, are all volunteers, and there is no administrative cost. They might have a cost for. You know, if they're actually purchasing supplies and shipping things, or if they have a donation center where they're asking for donations of actual goods, you know, that might have a cost to fly those goods out to the disaster area. But they don't have administrative expenses. You know, they're not hiring people to accompany the goods, or there's volunteers sorting and doing all that kind of stuff. They're not paying an accountant. They're well, some of them pay the accountant, but you know what I mean. That the major expenses are going, the major money is going directly to the people who need the help. That's where my heart is. There we go. That's interesting. I find that fascinating. I'm trying to figure out which direction I want it to live. I think I want it to live like that. That's happy for me right there. Okay, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to put my name. This is called Shellmound. There we go. Shellmound on string number 49. Very interesting. I'm happy with that. I suppose I was coloring way off the screen again because I tend to do that. I apologize if that's what I did. You know, I just get in the zone. I'm sorry. I do my best, but I am not professional and I'm all on my own here. Those people who have cameramen or women who have somebody who follows them around, they don't have to worry about these things like camera angles. But those of us who are just sitting here all by ourselves at home doing this for fun, we do our best. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Go out and do something nice for somebody today. And if you are able, please donate to disaster relief funds in some way, shape, or form. It's not just Houston. It's not just the newest hurricane. What is that, Irma, that's coming? It's flooding in India and all over the world. There are wildfires in California and Montana. There's a lot of places that can use funds. So just, you know, find yourself someplace where you feel comfortable in making a donation and do that today. That would be spectacular. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.